to Murderous Tongues Radio. This is Vale, After Dark. The air's heavy tonight, the kind that knows a storm before the sky does. They say a boy walking home from work took the wrong shortcut off Old Mill Road. Heard someone digging where the ground still steamed. He thought it was thunder. It wasn't. By the time he reached the payphone, he could barely hold the receiver. He said, "There's a man in the trees. He won't stop. Please." Most people remember the call, not the digging that came after. Tonight we go back to the woods, where roots remember, and the trees keep their own kind of justice. I'm Nora Vale, and this is Murderous Tongues Radio. Episode 10, The Trees Know Who.
The night was wet before the rain ever fell. Air like a fever pressed its palm to the woods. Leaves shined without light. Insects stitched a single sweaty note across the tree line. Heat lightning fired far off, white veins in a black sky, and the earth beneath us sweated clay. He brought me anyway. He always brings me when the air hangs like this, heavy enough to keep secrets close to the ground. Tall as a lamppost and twice as sure of the dark, he came down the deer path with his coat over one shoulder and his hands bare. Every time he carries me, I learn a little more about his hands, where callous beats softness, where old cuts knit, where new cuts sting, and he ignores them. The first one gave him those, not by choice but by panic, the way prey finds claws it never had before. It happens fast, always has. One cry, one quiet, and then the walk through the trees begins. I was made for earth, for turning it open, for closing it again, for translating air into dirt, and dirt into silence. The first time he used me for that, the world changed angles, and it has never quite set back. Tonight the spot is the same as always, far enough from the tracks that trains pretend they didn't hear, far enough from the road that headlights decide they only saw trees, not far from the Old Mill Road, where men used to carry wages home in pocketful and promises. He knows these woods the way some men know hymnals, by feel. He sets me blade first into the topsoil and leans against my handle, listening. He always listens first. The night tells him when it's busy. The night tells him when it can be bribed. Tonight the night is too hot to refuse anything. He stops. The air tightens, like it just received a command it didn't understand. He digs. Tall men look foolish when they bend. Not him. He folds like a hinge made to move just so. The first bites are easy, leaf mold and last year's decisions. Then the clay, thick as tongue. Each scoop comes up heavy, clinging to my mouth like it wants to stay in the light. He pries it loose, grunts once, and goes again. Digging is rhythm, lift, drive, press, pry, toss. He moves to it like a metronome that sweats. Sweat runs along his wrist and stripes my handle until the wood drinks it. Mosquitoes make a choir around his ears. Heat, lightning counts time to thunder that isn't here yet. I know root by drag, worm by pulse, rail bed by the weight that changes in my teeth. I sense a recent thing too. Copper on dust. A smear. A story I do not tell him because I am not asked. He pauses once, rolls his shoulders under the heat, and wipes his palms down the front of his shirt before he grips me again. He's tall enough that when he stands straight, I feel the air change above him, the sky dividing around his weight. It's always like this when the hole is shallow. He is a landmark, and I am the sign that says which way the night will turn. When he's chest deep, he climbs out with the slow grace of a man who trusts his feet. He drags the wrapped weight to the edge. He lowers it into what we made and kneels. Not to pray, only to arrange the lay. He's careful. He turns the face from the sky. It is a courtesy or a convenience. I cannot tell which. Courtesy doesn't weigh enough to matter. The sky flashes through him and through me. A white tremor in his grip. Wind rehearses through the trees. A cicada dies mid-scream with the abrupt silence of a fuse pulled. He grips me again. The night hears the word without him saying it. I know almost. I know the speed men find inside it. The way haste grows legs. He digs faster now, not clean. The kind of shoveling that mistakes urgency for depth. Dirt splashes me. He coughs, spits. I take the earth and fling it back where it won't look too new by. Morning. He stops. Sometimes stopping is breathing. Sometimes it's listening. This one is neither. This is the way a deer freezes when the forest remembers it. I feel it too, because I have learned to feel through his hands. The step in the brush, not squirrel light, not fox careful, human. Another. Someone moving as quietly as they can and failing because fear has fingers. And it plucks at muscle, throws timing off. His fingers tighten around my throat. The night holds its breath. The air from the west shivers once like skin. The storm growls an agreement too far away to matter yet. I feel the ground trying not to announce its steps. He lays me across the mound, blade toward the raw tongue of the hole. He never lays me down in dirt. He balances me like a coin over a jar, ready to roll, ready not to. Then he stands. When he stands, the forest changes its mind. The boy saw something I could only feel, the stillness that makes even air pull back. The storm lights him white for a blink, and in that blink, the boy sees every reason to run. Branches do not touch him. He moves, and the leaves flinch. He goes into the trees. I lie there between acts, measuring time by sweat drip and ox-blood moonrise. The forest flexes around the spot where my tall one disappeared, then settles like an old dog remembering this is his porch. The hole waits, open-mouthed. The bundle in it waits without opinion. I learn again the humiliation of being a thing that cannot move, but can only be moved. Far off, footsteps hit the old rail bed. Branches whip back. A voice breaks from a throat that's been saving tears for a private place, and just discovered there aren't any in a forest. I listen. I am built to listen to the ground. The ground tells me more than sky ever does. The storm comes closer by deciding to. Thunder doesn't ask trees for permission. Heat lightning gets bolder. Long bones of light laid out ahead of the body. Leaves turn their pale bellies to the air. Mosquitoes write signatures on his neck that rain will scrub soon. I feel the static hum along my edge. A bright charge tasting itself through steel. Somewhere past the trees, the ground shakes with a human voice. A payphone screaming through wire and storm. I feel it under me, running through the clay. Electricity turned pleading. There's a man in the trees, he won't stop, please, please. Silence, the kind that ends without ending. I am not there. I know because the night tells me, like gossip, it can't keep. The storm bends electricity into shapes not useful anymore. I imagine the boy cupping his hand around the receiver, fogging the glass with the first honest breath he's taken since the trees taught him to count again. He thinks a voice from far away can stop a hand from right here. Men do that. Believe the world is ropes and pulleys, and if you yell long enough, the ropes will care. When he returns, the storm returns with him. First fat drops hitting leaves like pennies into a hat. He steps into my patch of woods taller than when he left. Some men shrink after a chase. He grows. Rain snakes down his face and cannot decide whether to be regret or relief. His hands are wet and darker. The wet smells like iron and rain. He lifts me. Dirt clings like someone who knows you are leaving soon. He doesn't wipe it away. He braces a boot on the lip of the hole and works with a calm worse than panic. He is quiet. The storm makes his noise for him. We finish the first grave. Rain helps. Clay that fought us a minute ago decides to make friends. The mound holds, then melts under the drum of drops. He pats it twice with my backside, as if congratulating a loyal dog. He plants his palm in the wet and smears it away on his coat. Then he turns, not to leave, but to move deeper into the trees, because this isn't the first patch of ground he's opened, and it won't be the last. They call it forest. He calls it nothing. But I know what it is. It is his garden. The garden grows where rain and memory agree to rot together. Roots drink from what the world would rather not remember. And the trees never forget what's fed them. He disappears into the line where trunks become silhouettes. When he comes back, he's dragging another weight. The shoes have learned too much mud too quickly. Knees, leave commas in the soil. He does not look at the face. He just draws it to the edge and pauses like a man about to kneel in prayer. But prayer is for those who ask. He only answers. The forest leans in, curious but careful. Even the rain softens its percussion. He lowers the shape into the hole and presses the earth down until it fits the world again. He doesn't mark the place. He doesn't have to. The trees remember. The ground keeps count. And I catalogue. Every inch, every pound, every secret turned rootward. The garden is wide now. A slow expansion of forgiveness no one asked for. Men vanish into it like seasons. Each mound a bloom, each storm a watering. His hands never hesitate. His weight never falters. Whatever moves him doesn't change the rhythm. When he's done, he leaves me standing upright in the soil, blade deep in what used to have a name. Rain trails down my neck, runs over the metal like veins rediscovering a pulse. He sits beneath an oak gone hollow with years. Lightning rolls its white film over him. A photograph of something no camera could keep. For a blink, he looks carved from the same darkness that holds him. Then the light leaves, and he's gone again. The forest exhales. The rain becomes polite. The garden sleeps. I stay planted, blade kissing clay, listening to the worms adjust their roots. Soil settles. Names dissolve. Silence grows back over everything. When he returns, he lifts me without effort. Mud sighs when I leave. We walk through the woods like old habits do. Not toward home, just away from what's done. Back at the shed, he sets me on the bench with the others. The hammer, the axe, the saw. All of us, with our quiet knowledge, our inventory of endings. He washes my blade under the spigot. The water turns brown, then red, then clear. He dries me with the rag that remembers being a shirt. He oils my neck, runs a thumb along my edge, checks that I'm still honest. The others never speak, but they know. The saw hums to itself. The hammer sleeps like gilt. The rope hangs in its corner, pretending it's just rope. He leans me against the wall, in my place. My corner smells of rust and dirt and the faint sweetness of rot. He removes his coat. He doesn't wring it. He just lets it drip. A slow metronome against the floor. He stands still for a long time, staring at the door. Not because he forgot how to open it, but because he's remembering how to stop being what the woods make him. He goes inside. The light dies behind him. The storm runs out of reasons to shout and hums itself into sleep. Gutters clear their throats. The shed roof learns what a lullaby is. I lean in the corner and drip into a small, patient circle on the concrete. The The circle grows to the size of a coin, then to the size of a lie a man tells himself to get to sleep. Days belong to day people. Night keeps my ledger. You want to know who the first body was? Everyone does. I did not see her face. I haven't seen any of their faces. I do not see faces when earth is up to my teeth. You ask me who the tall man is, and I will tell you. The trees know who. But I do know the weight of the people he's buried, and the weight of the ones who deserved it. They aren't the first to go missing, and they won't be the last. The town keeps a list it doesn't write down, and his garden keeps the proof. Some call it curse, some call it cleansing. The trees call it feeding. He listens the way hounds listen, for the wrong heartbeat in the dark. When he hears it, he goes. No one sends him, no one stops him. They just wake lighter the next day and call it luck. Sometimes a woman disappears on the road home from the bar. Sometimes they leave their car running by the quarry. Sometimes she walks out to breathe and never walks back. The tall one knows where to start the hole. I know where to finish it. He is weather with bones. The part of the forecast you hear and think, that won't be us. And then you are wrong. You think tools don't keep stories. We do. We just don't spend them unless asked. Every handle on this bench remembers fingers. Every nick on the hatchet tells a month. I do not brag. I catalogue. I count in inches and shovelfuls, and the distance between a man's last breath and the first drop of rain that decides to wash his name away. He will take me back into the woods again. Not tonight. He will sleep the sleep of those who believe they did what needed doing. He will wake with dirt in his nails and think to trim them. He will eat with the appetite of someone who spends his hunger on his justice. He will avoid mirrors that show too much and look long into the window that shows only road. And when he walks again, the trees will lean to greet him. Roots will stir. The garden will wait, patient as always. You want to know what I am. You already do. You've felt the rhythm. You've measured the weight with me. You can call me what I am. The hand that keeps working after mercy runs out. You can call me a tool, a spade, a blade on a stick. You can call me what men call me when they only need me for fence posts and saplings, practical. You can call me what the tall one thinks when I hit stone and jar his shoulder, necessary. But call me what I am, a shovel, his shovel. I do not choose. I am chosen. And his garden, our garden, grows beautifully.
You've been listening to Murderous Tongues Radio, Vale After Dark. Tonight's story was The Trees Know Who. Out in the dark, storms don't wash things away. They just remind the earth what it's holding. The tall man will rest for now. The ground has had its fill. But the woods remember. And the trees always keep count. Next week, we'll trade the soil for static and look through a different kind of lens. A story where the ghosts don't hide in the dirt. They live inside the glass. A new witness is coming. One that never blinks, never sleeps, and never asks if what it shows you is real. Join me next time for episode 11, See for Yourself. Until then, midnight listeners, keep your eyes open, your hands clean, and your secrets buried deep. I'm Nora Vale. Good night.